Adam Marburger.
What's up?
Second sexiest Adam in this room.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
Okay. You just wrote a book. Let's start there.
It's been fun.
You are the fucking problem. I love it. So whenever I look at the cover of that, it immediately resonates with like a best-selling book. How do you feel about that?
You know what? We'll see what it is. I didn't write it with that in mind. I wrote it because I want to share a couple really cool stories and help some people. But we'll see where it goes. I'm happy. I'm happy with it. It's complete. I'm exhausted. And now we're getting ready to launch it. And we're going to hit the road.
It's going to be awesome, dude. How long did it take you to write it?
Well, I put it off. I started it I started about 2.5 years ago. And then I just put it down. COVID showed up.
Yeah.
And you would think that would have been the perfect time to complete it. But I played victim mindset, and it had a little woe is me, there was a little uncertainty in the market, right?
Yeah.
So I started drinking a little bit more and working a little bit less. So basically I was in my own way. I didn't get it done during COVID. So the bulk of it was done in 2021. I started really, really getting jiggy with it in September. And then I had it done in January, and I changed a few things at the end of January, but it's now ready to come out.
Nice. Yeah, 2020 was a hell of a year, right?
It was a character growing year, to say the least. Yeah.
I was what was it? Maybe it was like a stand-up, like little clip I saw, and the guy was talking about. I realized I'm a liar during 2020 because it was saying, you know how often you're like, if I only had the time, I only had the time. Well, we all had the time.
We had the time
in 2020, and whether you did it or you didn't.
Yeah.
Now what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I did a lot of jiu-jitsu during that time.
I did as well.
Ton of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. We did a lot of jiu-jitsu. We definitely got our training in.
Yeah.
Good news is Court and I both live less than 10 minutes from our academy.
Nice.
So he can get there in less than 10. I can get there in less. So him and I did a lot of, last minute, let's get together,
Yeah. Kind of sneak in there.
Yeah.
Were you supposed to be there?
So there was a time where we did have to shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers were high and the community freaked out.
Yeah.
And, we did our due diligence and we shut down.
Yeah.
I want to say it was 4 weeks. We completely shut down for about a month.
Okay. That's not terrible, though.
So our Madison County, so I'm right across the river over there. And, Madison County, COVID exists, but it really didn't there. Not trying to get Madison County. I mean, it's a pretty big county, so hopefully
I get it.
I don't want to get Madison County in trouble, right? Can they get in trouble now?
I don't think so.
We live in a weird world. I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Can politicians get in trouble for anything?
Yeah. Good. Yeah. True. So in Madison County, besides Edwardsville kind of stands on its own in Madison County.
Okay.
But everything was kind of open.
Yeah.
Everything was open. So we was kind of normal.
Yeah.
Where we were.
Well, Southern Illinois is very similar to Missouri. It's very different than.
Yeah. Cook County.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little different.
Dude, that county runs the whole state.
And
it's not a representation of the entire state.
It sure isn't. It's if we could carve out Cook County, let it be its own little jurisdiction, its own entity, and let the rest of Illinois. Illinois is beautiful. Southern Illinois. I'll tell you, I'm in love with my little river town of Alton. That's my favorite place in the country is Alton. I mean, it's just majestic.
Yeah.
But it's still in Illinois. I would love it to be at Alton, Missouri. That would be awesome.
Yeah, you get better politics that way.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, dude, Illinois is sick. Have you been to Garden of the Gods?
I haven't, but I want to. I've been to Garden of the Gods in Colorado.
Okay.
But I haven't been down in Southern. I've heard about that place.
I've heard about it too. I just haven't been. I think it's probably a little bit closer for you, but not much. I mean, I think it's like a 3-hour drive.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a drive, but it's supposed to be just.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
I mean, Southern Illinois is very pretty.
Yeah, yeah, especially along the river there.
Oh, yeah.
The muddy Mississippi.
Oh, yeah. And I live right off the Great River Road. So, literally, that drive down to up to Grafton,
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
It's gorgeous there.
And I have, when I say this, a lot of people, I have a lot of local friends, and they're like, why do you love Alton so much? Well, I travel so much. I'm everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
I get excited when I land at Lambert and I cross the bridge, the Clark Bridge into Alton, and you look at your just beautiful little town. It's all on a hill. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, Alton's truly a gem.
It's a true picture of just small town America, right? Just a small little town. situated on the river. I mean, you got your local joints like Fast
Oh
Eddie's.
yeah, I may be going there this afternoon. I'm thinking about. I called my boss earlier. I said, "Hey, boss, do you care if you care if I take the rest of the day off?" I said, "I'm going to go with my buddy Adam Meredith. We're going to do a little podcast. I want to shut it down the rest of the day."
Yeah,
He was a dick at first, but he said, "Okay." I said, "I'm going to go to Fast Eddie." So I
you,
think that's where I'm going to go
you
later.
could probably choke that dude out.
He's a punk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure,
yeah.
for sure, dude. So what's your writing process like? Did you? I mean, throughout that that major time in like 2021, like do you just kind of like chunk out time to write, or you just write whenever you're feeling it? You take notes along the way. Like what's your process going about it?
So I found, and this goes back to 2017. I didn't realize that I really enjoyed writing. Some say I'm good at it. I'm not sold that I'm good at it, but I am sold that I enjoy doing it. I'm my own worst critic. So like when I read some of my stuff, I don't even like to really reread what I write. But the process of writing it, like my heartstrings are pulled because I put everything into my writing. So I started writing small articles, and then I was getting them published with some pretty big publications in automotive. And I would, automotive news and then CBT, and I just started contributing a bunch. I was like, wow. And I would tell stories along the way. And I found that I like still telling stories. And then I started getting into speaking, and I found that I love being on the stage telling stories and sharing information. And then when I do speaking engagements, I have to write my material and structure it. So I just freaking love it. And so I back in 2019, my life changed. There's a series of really bad things that happened over and over, and I decided, because I basically was at an all-time low, but then I got myself out of it. And so with my story, I felt, how many people could I help if I showed them the way, and I share some of my past and my stories of how I got out of my own way, how I became self-aware. And so that's where the book came. The book came with first realizing that I like to write.
Hmm.
And then I've been through hell and back. And so how many people can I help? So then I started with kind of a rough outline, and I started with one chapter at a time. Just one at a time, and I would put my heart into it, and it was just it was fun.
Yeah.
It was. If I could have freaking got it, if I would have just not been such a little punk at the beginning of COVID, I probably could have got it done in a couple of months. I mean,
Yeah.
when I really look, but you know what? I don't think it would have been as good as I feel that it is, because the energy and the passion that I put into it, I don't think was there in COVID.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Does that
Yeah.
make sense? Like, because I feel the timing was right when I actually completed it. So
Yeah, like you had to go through a few more things
Mhm.
to kind of get to
Yeah.
that place to prep you. Be like, all right, now I'm ready to
Yeah, yeah.
write this book.
Yeah.
So you're already doing a whole bunch of writing before that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of mini little things. I publish a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, I love writing. Oh my goodness, I love it.
Do you?
I didn't know it. Had no idea. You would have asked me that 15-year. I'd be like, right? What?
Do you write like daily, or just like when it strikes you, you try to sit down and do it?
Daily, I will piece something together. To say I sit in front of my computer and really spend time writing, no. I don't daily, mainly when I feel like it, but then
Yeah.
I do have structured time.
Hmm.
So I have to, with my schedule the way it's gotten, I have to batch everything. Like for instance, if I know next Tuesday of next week from 2 to 4, I'm going to be working on Alton Family Martial Arts. That's the time allotted for it. That's when I'm doing it, and outside of an emergency with my kids or something, I'm not deviating, right? So I do the same on Saturday mornings. I give myself Saturday mornings, with the exception of the last couple of weeks. It's been some family stuff, crazy stuff happening. I haven't been able to for a couple of weeks, but Saturday mornings I write. Those are writing sessions.
No.
And sometimes they'll be planned. Sometimes I'll know, hey, I've got this coming up. I need to work on this, and I'll sit down and put my headphones in. There's a coffee shop. I'll plug it, Mava's in Alton. And so I'll go sit there, and there's something about that room that really gets my energy, right, going, and my brain moving. So I'll just write. I'll
Okay.
spend time, and I'll write on Saturday mornings.
Yeah. So you're scheduling everything.
Everything.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's not a bad way to go, right? I mean, it makes sure that you're getting shit done, keep everything organized. When and where you need to be. And then you're like, all right, this is the time I'm focusing on this. No other distractions.
Yes. Now, I'll say this. At some level, it's a miserable life, but it's a productive one. And I know that there's a time frame. Like, I've only got so many years to where I can run and run hard and get to where I need to get. and then we will throw that schedule and stomp on it, because my end goal is not to live life every single day with minutes accounted for, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to live that way. I have to live that way now so I can get to where I'm supposed to, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like this temporary sprint, if you will, for however long that
Yes.
temporary moment is. But
Yes.
it's like all in until you reach to where you're trying to get to, right?
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
kind of enjoy things a little bit more.
Amen to that. Yeah,
The
that's the
question
plan.
is, do you ever get to that place?
I don't know. I
You're
mean,
an ambitious guy.
I think so. I just think that it's different, though. Like, I will always build and create, but I have a couple of rules. And rule number one is I'm not going to wear socks. Like, I'm going to be somewhere where I don't need to wear socks. Like,
Yeah.
I want to wear sandals or some maybe shoes at night that I don't need to wear socks in, but I don't want to wear socks. I need it to be sunny most of the time, and I like warmer weather. That's fact. And I'm probably going to let my hair grow. Your hair looks ravishing. I don't think I can pull that off, but it's going to be something similar I can envision.
Dude, you walk in with this mane into a room full of auto dealers,
Oh, dude.
you're gonna have all their attention.
Oh, I think so. But,
But they might not take you serious.
when I retire, when I get to that place, though, my team, and I will be serving dealers, but I'm hoping to. I just want to maybe play the guitar and go to jiu-jitsu. Like, I just like, could you imagine waking up with no real agenda? You know, maybe a call or two you need to make,
Yeah.
and then grab some acai or maybe a coffee,
Yeah.
have a talk with your significant other, maybe read a book on the beach
Yeah.
or go for a little jog,
Yeah.
and then go do jiu-jitsu from like 11 to 1 every day. Would that suck, Adam?
That'd be great.
That's what I want to do.
So you're leaving Alton. You'll probably like keep residence there. You're gonna be a snowbird.
So my favorite child, my favorite thirdborn. I have a favorite firstborn, a favorite middle child, and a favorite third.
That's fair.
So my baby Aston, she's my life. She's 4, so Daddy can't leave. Daddy's got to be here. All right. So, but when she's 18, I mean, I will have a residence in Florida, probably Florida. That's the state. I would say within 5 years I'll have a place down there, maybe 2 to 3, but I'll have a house there.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be living there the majority of the time until she is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that. I'm going to wait till she's graduated high school, but then I will be in Florida a hell of a lot more than Illinois. JB Pritzker, I'm so sorry. Just don't take that personal.
Florida's the spot, huh?
Oh, yeah.
What about Florida do you love?
I just love it. First of all, I like the leadership politically, and I don't want to get political. I just like, there's something about that state that I like the way it's ran. I like the people. I love the weather. I love Southwest Florida. The beaches are fantastic. I just love Florida.
Southwest Florida is
Southwest
that's your
Florida.
jam?
So I spend more time down in that Miami, Fort Lauderdale for business purposes. And let me tell you, I love it down there. I
Yeah.
really do. Love Delray. I love Boca. But there's just something about Fort Myers.
Fort Myers,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
You like it.
Annabelle. And,
We went down there for in December for New Year's.
Yeah,
This is a pretty cool
It's
area.
amazing. The beaches are great. The people are so nice. I mean, I love palm trees. How can you be in a shit mood when you can sit on your porch and you got a palm tree, maybe you got a book in a hand, a drink, and a freaking palm tree? How could you? You have to be a really shitty person to be in a bad mood down there.
Until that fucking dinosaur comes running across your yard,
saw that.
scares the shit out of you, bro.
I saw that.
Come
Hey,
on.
did you see that? Did you see the world's largest alligator?
Dude,
I saw it on
it was
social.
It was massive.
Yeah.
It has like a humpback. They call it like.
Yeah, the hump. Yeah.
Yeah, bro, I
Yeah,
just saw
scared.
that.
What the heck?
Oh, come on now.
Dude, I'm not a fan of alligators. You know,
Boa constrictors.
We'll have to figure that
giant
out.
bugs.
Where,
Little geckos running everywhere.
yeah, I'll have to figure that out. But I'll
That's why
deal with
they're
it.
all crazy down there, bro. Because they're tough sons of bitches living with dinosaurs.
Yeah. Those gators are pretty wild.
Right?
Yeah,
Dude, it's crazy. Yeah, just don't venture into the swamp.
yeah. I'm out.
Yeah, forget
out.
all that. I think that was that alligator was in Lakeland, which is kind of actually like inner. It's like just a little bit. I think maybe like north of Orlando, maybe.
Okay.
Like up in that
Yeah,
area.
I didn't know where it was.
So that's not even on the coast. It's kind of like inner
Wow,
Florida. But either way, they got some wild wildlife.
those things
down
are
there.
fast.
Yeah.
Those things are fast.
I remember being a kid thinking, you could probably outrun one of those things, or there's certain animals that you kind of view as slow, bears being one of them, alligators being those. But in reality, no, those things are fast.
I heard 30 miles per hour on land.
Alligators?
That's
I
what I heard.
think
I don't
so.
know. I could be so far off, but I think somebody said that the other day.
I think either way, it's faster than a human can run.
Well, yeah.
Probably. Dude, those things are fast.
And I'm not like as good at you as you in jiu-jitsu, but I mean, I kind of know what I'm doing. I don't know what I would do with it. What would be your first go-to? What do you got to do? What
For an
move?
alligator.
Yeah, I mean,
So if they move fast forward and backwards, how quick are they left and right?
that's the question
So
I have to.
I know they can kind of turn, but like maybe if I go this way, are they gonna be able to get me? Do I juke them?
Yeah, I mean, so you could kind of do an air arm drag, maybe then take the back. I don't know where you try to finish though.
I just want to get away as far as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
You're gonna do jujitsu to an alligator,
I
bro?
hear
Maybe a bear.
So I did some hiking in Alaska, a lot of hiking actually, and I was there to run a half marathon, raise some money for the LLS Leukemia Lymphoma Society. So it was a really fantastic. Me and my ex-wife, it's something we were very supportive of, and so we went out there, and like I was really searching for how many times do bears attack people. And, I talked to some locals along the way, and they're like, you know what? It doesn't really happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty rare, actually.
Right.
You will see, by the way, when you go to, you're going to see a lot of things in Alaska. Like wildlife is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a point to the story, by the way. So I ran this half marathon, which that's a whole nother conversation. I thought that, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I'm a competitor. Like, I don't need to train for it. Well, I will say, people that are in shape, you can run 5 miles. You can run 10 even. But, man, 13, if you don't train for it, it does kind of screw you up a little bit. And it did. The same day, on the same race, a black bear snagged up a 16-year-old and killed him.
While they were racing? Or
on the same race, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And,
they weren't just like somebody in the
in Anchorage
stands watching. They were running.
It was a boy who was in the race.
Damn.
So this kid, like literally, like at first, it was on the news immediately that night, and I'm like, oh my God, because I didn't know about it until I was back in the room resting, beat up, truthfully, didn't want to move. And I saw it, like straight up, this bear freaking got this kid. It doesn't ever happen, but it happened in that race. I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude.
Because I was reading with a grizzly, you're done. Like, you can't fight a grizzly. Like, I mean, Mike Rogers, I don't think could take a grizzly bear, and I think he's a pretty tough dude, right? I mean, he's a freaking pretty big grizzly himself. That dude will hurt people, right?
Dude, grizzly bears have I don't think there's anything behind.
No, there's nothing. They'll take you out.
Destroy.
Now, a black bear, I was told, if you play good turtle, I mean, tuck that chin, and you have a chance with a black.
Vital organs.
Yeah, you have a chance. But grizzly, you don't have a chance.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
Grizzlies are terrifying.
Yeah, I'm out.
Have you ever seen? There's these shows. I think maybe on History Channel. Like it's called Alone. Well, they'll drop somebody off. It's a group of them. It's I don't know 5 or 6 or however many people, and they'll put them in these various spots, and they get like 10 items, and they basically just have to survive for as long as they can. And whoever survives the longest wins. Yeah. So either way, dude, these people they'll get out there, and a lot of it's in Alaska, and just the amount of people that underestimate the wildlife. Like they get out there, like there's been a number of times, seasons where, the first night someone's like, I'm fucking out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Or, they'll set up camp and then in comes this bear just trotting around, checking things out, poking around. Dude, can you imagine the fear?
I wouldn't make it. I'm not cut out for that.
Dude, the human body is actually pretty shitty design in regards to the animal kingdom. We got cool hands and like we can do some stuff, but this meat suit actually kind of sucks. You gotta feed it every day. You gotta water it every day.
Yep.
You gotta fucking move it every day, or else it breaks the fuck down. We can't even run that fast. We don't have sharp teeth or claws. We're not as strong as most of the things.
We're really smart.
We're just smart.
Yeah.
We got that.
Very smart.
We got some good things going for us, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty screwed
we
out.
get fucked up by a lot of
we
things.
really, absolutely, yeah.
In the
absolutely.
wild, bro.
And I'm not suited. I am not. Like, I used to watch this show, Naked and Afraid. They drop these people off, no clothes, and like have to survive. I don't know. I don't know, like how I could make. I would need like a 4 seasons tent set up with like some type of a spa treatment for me to make it work. There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way I could make it out there. I got a guy that I do some business with that does that. Like he lives off the grid and off the land and kills his own. Like it's just insane.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, it doesn't even seem fun.
I feel like I need to learn more of those skills. The world is crazy.
Yeah.
And at any time, I might need to go procure some meat.
That is. You've got a point. You got a point. I've got a friend of mine. His name's Lance. He kind of is like a doomsday prepper type guy. And like when COVID hit, he was convinced like the world.
He was ready.
He wasn't convinced the world was ending, but he's just a guy that super thinks ahead. And I started thinking, maybe he's onto something.
Anything's possible,
In
bro.
this world, I mean, here, listen, what I've seen over the last couple of years here in the U.S., I don't want to be negative. Today, I told myself when I woke up, no negativity today, but I shake my head a little bit. I don't know what.
Dude,
I'm not too sold on us here in the U.S. I don't really know.
dude, well, here's the thing. It's over there somewhere. This book called Deep Survival, and basically the guy talks about the first half of the book. He goes in deep on like kind of like why different accidents happen, and then the second half is like what are the traits that tend to make people a survivor. And one of the things is just typically, you know, the veil between what we know as society and then what we know as like the wilderness and nature is so thin and it can come unraveled at any time. Think about this. Like Texas, the entire power grid was almost taken down
Remember that.
by some cold. Not even crazy cold. Up here we could handle it. They just didn't have the infrastructure to handle it to where their whole power grid almost went down because of some cold. That is nothing. And then all of a sudden all these people would have been without power. It could take almost nothing to be like, oh shit, the water isn't even going to turn on whenever you go turn on that faucet.
Oh yeah.
Or it's like, oh shit, and we're already seeing it today. You go to the grocery store, man, I can't go buy that ground beef anymore. Oh, I can't go buy that chicken. Where the hell am I going to get it? You better go figure it out, dude.
Yeah,
You know,
you're here.
you go there, maybe some things aren't, you used to get that loaf of bread, maybe you can't get that loaf of bread. Or hyperinflation, maybe that loaf of bread costs $1,000.
We are more vulnerable than we realize.
Dude, any little change
Oh yeah.
could just unravel it all. And so I think about that, and I feel that I need to develop some skills.
Yeah.
That's why I got a bow. I
Yeah.
just need to actually use it now.
I mean, really, I just have pistols.
Yeah, I got some guns too. I've been dry firing, trying to
Yeah.
get used to like working those
Yeah,
things. You
yeah.
just never know, bro.
You
just
never know. You never know. That's why I used to do office jujitsu in the office format.
Those are the
You
best
really never
videos.
know when a customer is going to come at you with a stapler. Like, or you got a mad disgruntled employee. Maybe their check wasn't right. Well, you never know when somebody's going to come at you and take your back. Like, what do you do when somebody gets the hooks
Exactly.
on the showroom floor at the dealership? Like, what are you going to do?
What do you do?
Jujitsu.
Office jujitsu, baby.
I would love to bring that back. I don't think that would be.
Those
good
were
for me.
great.
Those were
great.
fun. They were. That was. Adam was a little bit younger when we did those videos.
You're not in an office like that anymore, though. You're on the road
I'm on the
all
road.
the time.
Yeah, I can do airport jiu-jitsu.
You are the F&I king.
That's what they say. I don't know if I believe that though.
What does F&I mean? Finance
And
and
insurance.
insurance.
Yeah. A lot of people outside the business that are like, Adam, what's this F&I? Explain this to me. So yeah, I deal with insurance. Insurance, baby.
Yeah. You help dealerships
Yeah, I just help dealerships. Yeah, they
sell
sell my
insurance
they sell
packages?
my products. So when you go into a dealership and maybe you go to a store where
Oh,
they
you're
give,
an insurance agent
I'm
for
an
dealerships.
I am. There you
For
go.
cars.
Yeah, I provide the insurance products. They sell out of the finance office, and then I coach and I mentor and I help those dealerships sell more cars, sell more products, help more people, retain their customers at the highest level. And most importantly, we have a ton of fun when we do it.
And can we mention that you're like the best at what you do?
Some say that. I really
said it.
love what I do. I love what I do.
Which makes you the best, my
All right,
dude. I
yeah.
see you fucking killing it all the time. You're always putting out F&I information. You're always like, who can I meet? What dealership needs my help? Who can I help? We're trying to fucking kick ass and take names. And you're doing it.
Well, here's what I found out. Social media, it's good not to share all of your drama, right? I think social media is a great platform, and I think that sharing your personal drama and negative stuff on there is just super counterproductive, right? Nobody wants to really read that stuff. I mean, some say they do, but who really wants to fill their? Negativity is not a way to start, right? So I tell myself, no positivity, no politics. Keep that to a minimum. Have to do that. Try to keep my religion off there, but I keep my business on there nonstop, and the consistency allows me to meet people in different cities. Like yesterday, I posted something. Here's the cities I'm going to be in. There's like 7 of
A
them,
long
8 of them
list.
over the next several weeks. Who can I meet? Well, I got like 5 people already in my inbox that want to meet me. And guess what? I mean, do you think that lead is warmer or colder?
That's a warm lead.
It's so warm. And so That's how I build my business.
Yeah, we like those warm leads,
Well,
baby.
the warm leads are good. And the thing is, I genuinely, here's where I'm at in my business is I don't want to work with people that aren't growth mindset minded. Like, I don't want to work with somebody who's not wanting to change anything, or I don't want to work with somebody that's a negative person. I want to work with positive people that love helping and serving and truly want to grow. Because when I have a dealer that says, oh, we're selling 100 cars a month, we're trying to get to 150, we want to get to 200, we're just not, we just, for whatever reason, have been unable to do so.
Mm.
That's the dealer I want to work with. For the dealer, it's like, oh, I don't want to change anything. Let's just, status quo's cool here.
Yeah.
I don't really want to, that doesn't work.
Well, how do you help somebody get more sales? Is it because of the way in which they maybe offer financing to their customers,
So we
or
train sales teams
you
also
just
on how
train
to
them
bring.
in
We
sales?
we have so within our agency, yeah. So our agency, Ascent Dealer Services, provides the financial products that dealers sell out of their finance offices. But there's so much more that we do for the dealer. We have a lot of value adds. The reason we're successful is because our agency consists of retail ex car dealers. So I have people in my agency that used to own car dealerships and are very successful at the highest level. And we have a lot of like expert retail coaches. So when we go in, our value proposition is, hey, yeah, we do have the best products, but you know what? A lot of our competitors have some of the best products too. Like, the product's a commodity. What's not a commodity is what we give you after the sale.
Yes.
We're going to teach you how to sell more cars. We're going to teach you how to sell more products on those cars. We're going to create a culture of servant leadership within your dealership that we're going to make the buying process better for your retail customer. In turn, that customer will get happily engaged in your service department. In turn, they'll come back and buy more cars. So we have an approach on how we really change the culture within the dealership, and it's a super profitable proposition.
It's a win-win for everybody.
Everybody wins. The dealer typically is extremely happy.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, social media, if used well, it's a tool to be used.
Oh, yeah.
That's the issue. Sometimes I find myself, this is what I have to catch myself. I'm like, all right, am I just stuck in this mental loop of scroll and I'm searching and scrolling and searching? Because that's what they do. These apps, they hijack your human reward system and they make you search and search and then get that dopamine hit, get that dopamine hit. And it can get you in this loop of not going anywhere. You're on the hamster wheel, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'll have to be like, all right, am I just stuck in this loop right now, or am I being productive? Am I actually using this how I need to be using it, or is it using me right now? And I got to realize when you get stuck in those loops, because we all do, like, all right, let me put it down for a second and use it for how it's actually meant to be used. Because when used well, man, you can do massive things.
I talk about batching. I have 8:30 to 9 a.m. with an alarm every day. That's my social media time to add to my network. So I will go in. If there's a post that needs to be posted, I'll have it in mind and kind of already created. It'll get posted, but then I'll go in and I will connect, engage, share positive stuff, give something away that's relevant, and add people into my network. And it has to be systematic, because here's what happens. If I just sit around and scroll, now I scroll. My girlfriend Sylvia will tell you, she'll see me. I'll always scroll here and there, downtime, like in bed or whatever, right? That happens.
Absolutely.
But there's some rules of engagement. I'll share that in a minute. But it has to be productive. And when I do a lot of coaching, I don't just coach automotive people. I coach real estate people. I coach people in all businesses, all walks of life. I've got my own other business that I've started. It's a consulting company that I help a lot of people on a one-on-one basis. But I teach everybody this principle is we get unproductive sometimes. Sometimes we are our own worst enemy, where we get distracted. It's very easy to get distracted. So I have everybody write on a card 3 letters, and it's IPA, and it stands for income producing activity. And so, like in my dealerships, I'll have people post it like on their monitor or put it on a sticky next to their monitor, and whenever when there's a moment of doubt of what should you be doing, or should you be doing what you're currently doing, you ask yourself the question, is this an income producing activity? And if the answer to that is no, or you have to guess, it's not. Get rid of it, move on to something else that's productive, right? Now there's times and places where you can let yourself have some free time, and you don't necessarily need to. Maybe it is from 8 to 10, you give yourself freedom, meaning that whatever you do is your time. Scroll through, scroll on. That's okay, because you've given yourself that time for that. But you got to be careful, because you can get lost in the trap of scroll into negative BS that leads you into more negative BS, and you made no money. and you found yourself in a pissed off mood. So now you're going back into your vocation or some type of a relational situation, and you're not able to serve because you're freaking so pissed off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
dude.
you just gotta be careful, and being self-aware is such a beautiful quality. It took me years to figure it out. But when you're self-aware enough and you can realize what you're really doing, and you can say, is this an income-producing activity? And you can answer that question quickly and move on. Then you can be much more financially responsible.
Yeah, that's
So,
that discipline.
yep,
That's that discipline. You got to develop that.
takes time.
How'd you develop it?
I don't know. Jiu-jitsu. I will say jiu-jitsu. Everything I do is jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu
Everything. Because
trained you.
jiu-jitsu, like I'm speaking in Atlanta at this really big deal in a couple of weeks. And my talk and what I'm going to share is it's road to F&I black belt. I'm sharing this with you because everything that I do and I speak on in the business world relates back to jiu-jitsu. And I look, because jiu-jitsu gives you everything. I mean, jiu-jitsu makes you humble. It makes you look at your nutrition a little bit differently. You have to. It's not easy. So when I look at successful people, I like to find like what is it that you do and that you outside of work, like what degree do you have? Some people say college doesn't matter. At some level it does and it doesn't. Depends on what you want to do, right? But I like to see people do things that are difficult and stick with them. And jiu-jitsu is that ultimate difficult thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're a black belt, right? You have days where you probably just your game's on, but there's days you probably get caught up in some stuff, right? And you leave and you're like, what the hell? I'm a black belt. Like, what the hell? It's never finished. Your work's never finished. Well, jiu-jitsu's instilled to me is it's everything I do in life's about progression. Like, I'm never going to master. And so I'm always, jiu-jitsu's that structure. Jiu-jitsu's giving me that indestructible confidence that I just don't, I'm not really worried about a lot. I mean, like I live my life on my terms. It's just jiu-jitsu saved my life. Jiu-jitsu didn't change it. It saved it. Like, jiu-jitsu is my fucking life, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
I know you know.
Oh, I know.
You know.
Oh man, it's just there's something about just doing hard things by choice and just like pushing your own limits and just testing those boundaries on a regular basis, because then you just realize, oh, you're in a meeting, or maybe you're having a hard time closing a deal. It's like, oh, this isn't as bad. Like, you're used to harder shit on a regular basis, so this doesn't seem as bad.
Yeah. I mean, you know what it's like, when you've got somebody that's maybe just a little bit better, or maybe a couple steps levels better than you, and you're stuck like mounted. Maybe it's like a 6-minute round and there's 40 seconds left, but that place where you're just kind of suffocated and crushed. Maybe the submission's not in, but the position's so bad and you're stuck, right? If you can push through and escape and get out of that, right? And when the round's over, you didn't get tapped, you got your guard back, or you got back into a scramble at least.
Yeah.
You think sometimes it's perception. Like, we think it's so much harder than it really is. Like, you're so much stronger than you think you are. And that's what jiu-jitsu allows you just in those deep waters, especially in competition. I know there's a something that clicks in competition where you're just stronger and you're better. Sometimes it's not that way, but a lot of times it's that adrenaline and that you're better than you think you are. And you're so much tougher than you think you are too.
I just had this thought. What jiu-jitsu does really well? I think it helps people define wins for themselves that they may not have otherwise seen. And what I mean by that is, there's times, especially in the beginning of jiu-jitsu, for example, a lot of what you define as a win is, did I get that submission? Did I get that submission?
Yeah.
Like, you're always chasing that submission because that's the win for you.
Yeah.
But then you realize there are other ways to win. Maybe it's, you go with a really tough fucking black belt like Nick Sanders. Like, all right, well, maybe he didn't tap me for that time.
Yeah,
or maybe I'm always getting mounted and I finally got out of that mount. Or, you learn to define these wins along the process, and it helps you along the way, because you can look at a problem just a little bit differently.
Oh, you said that perfectly. Absolutely. There is so many little wins. And, it does take a long time. Like, how many years did it take you to get your black belt? Like
12 years.
12 years. So I got 2 stripes on my brown belt. I put the gi on in 2011. I put it on in 2011, right? First of all, I don't know if you went through this at brown belt. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but I have kind of imposter syndrome. Like, I just don't feel worthy. Like, I just don't, I feel there's days I go and I'm on, but there's days I'm not on. And like, I tell myself, like, I'm nowhere deserving of a black belt, right?
Oh,
like,
you're close, bro.
I'm close, but maybe, but I just don't feel worthy of it, right? But it's this sport. it takes a long time, and I tell my students in class, like when other people get promoted, everybody has their own individual journey.
Hmm.
But like even each stripe means something. Like, I see guys that come in and they work really hard. You give them their first stripe, you see their eyes light up and you see how, and you're so proud of them. Like my partner, Paul, in Ascent Dealer Services, he's a blue belt. Well, he's a collegiate wrestler. When he was a scholarship wrestler at Iowa. And, he's 50 years old and he freaking hangs with freaking 20-year-olds. And, I gave him on my birthday, last year on my birthday, I kind of surprised him at open mat, and we gave him his blue belt. So on my birthday, I wanted to give him his blue belt. It was
Yeah.
the best feel. That freaking, and it's a.
And he gave you a gift, didn't even know.
Well, hey, it's selfish because the joy that I got out of it,
Hmm.
right? I got so much joy, but Paul earned it, and to see Paul, like, dude, he's not old, but he's older than a lot of these young kids, and even you being a stud black belt, those 20, 22-year-old collegiate wrestlers, they're not easy. You're going to get banged up. It hurts, okay? It just hurts.
Hmm.
But Paul's in there with a bunch of younger guys just stifling top control, side control. He's finding his go-to submissions that are his. It's kind of cool to see that.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, man. Especially a guy who's older, and it cuts out all the excuses when somebody's like, "Oh, well, I'm too old," or
Yeah.
"Oh, let me get in shape before I do this." Like, dude, I know people who started jujitsu in their 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
Cut your shit
Yeah.
and just show up.
Yeah,
We'll
and
meet you where you are. We'll figure it out.
and it is definitely intimidating.
Oh, for sure.
And that's why we named Alton Family Martial Arts Alton Family Martial Arts, because like I grew up at I bounced around and did some MMA and like some kickboxing to all these little fight club type places, and I spent some time at Finney's, but I used to train at the War Room, and back then the early, I don't know if you ever came over and used to spar with some of those guys
Dude,
back
Fridays were the best.
Well, yeah,
Dude, when Mankey was running out of there.
Mike, I miss that guy. What an animal he
golly.
is. But old school War Room was just a true fight club, dude. It was
Mhm.
like
Show up and
dark.
bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, if you're bringing your kid, if you're bringing Johnny down there for his first class, Johnny may not want to come back
Mhm.
because it's pretty hard, right?
Right.
And so I kind of grew up in those environments. And Finney, what Jesse did a really nice job of. Jesse had it very professional ran deal, and he back then it was in Crestwood Mall. I don't know if you remember those days, but you can actually watch. So people got to kind of watch in. And his deal, I mean, I loved his place over there. And I bounced around to a couple different spots, but I'm like, okay, so if we're going to open a gym, how do we get people? I don't just want like the best people. I want people that are kind of lost. I want people that want a better life. I want people that are insecure. I want people that are like, hey, I've always wanted to do that, but I'm just too afraid to try it. I want you. And that's why Alton Family Martial Arts, safe family environment. We bring people in. We are not so serious.
Yeah.
Court, Court. I mean, he's not the most serious guy, right?
But he will fuck you up.
Court is pretty lethal. And that's the thing that sucks, man. Like, I got to play a game of old man, let's pin you down and play inch by inch with that man. Court is a guy you just don't want to scramble with because he finds his way to your back. He's a tough son of a gun is what he is.
Squirrely.
He is a squirrely son of a gun. But he's
Yeah.
tough. But he just does such a great job.
He's
Great
sound in what he
leader.
does.
Great leader at the gym. He loves the kids. So anyway, long story short, family environment, and I've seen firsthand over the last handful of years the lives that have been changed, man. The marriages that have been saved because they got in better shape and started living a different lifestyle. The kids that were bullied in school that now aren't. Their acne cleared up and they're in shape, and now they're getting the girls, or the girls are getting the guys, and now they're living their best life. And you've got people of all walks that are in the best shapes of their lives, living better lives because of jiu-jitsu.
Absolutely.
And they're learning something.
Yeah, so you opted for an environment that was much more. It's not the fighter environment.
Not the fighter environment. Now, we do have Justin Church in there now doing some intro MMA. Our jiu-jitsu program's grown. We're proud that we've got some good grapplers now. I mean, we've got some good, solid blue belts winning some stuff and doing some things. And I'm proud to be connected with Kyle and then Josh's gym. We've got a pretty good little revival. We can all kind of move around, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice little group of gyms and
So
that tag team system.
so those that want to compete, it's not that we don't we challenge you to compete, but if you want to get a little bit more competitive environment, go to McKinney's on Sundays, go to Watson's for open mat on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Yeah, that's always a good room.
God, freaking McKinney. I went with Josh. What's today? Today Friday?
Today's Friday.
I went with Josh Wednesday. He's such a prick.
I'm gonna get in
I,
shape and go with Josh,
he is.
and then I won't lose his bet.
God, he's something else, man. I don't know what it's like when he takes mount. And the amount of pressure that dude knows how to put in that position is demoralizing. I honestly, there was about a 15-minute window that I almost quit jiu-jitsu Wednesday.
Really?
Yeah, I was crying. I was crying on the inside like a winner in my car, and I told myself, "Hey, self, do I really want to do this?" And I'm thinking, "Screw Josh. I'm gonna train harder, and we're gonna figure something out on this guy."
Josh is a thick boy. Josh is. I'm always. I don't know why, because he's not like huge, but I'm always so surprised by how thick his thighs are.
He's a big dude. He's strong. He's a strong guy. He's the sweetest. He's the sweetest badass I know. He really is. He's a good. They don't make him many like him. His dad too. They're quality human beings. Is all I can say about those guys.
Yeah. He's got a good thing going over there.
I actually wrote a chapter about those two in my book.
Oh, did you?
I swear to you, I did. Yeah. Those two, they've had such a very positive impact. Like, I've seen Josh grow up from a boy into a man, and just the decisions that he's made have always been so sound. And he's a true servant. He's a good guy, and that's props to Steve and Jen. His parents. They're just such good people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've traveled. I love going to church. I love going to visit different types of churches. Like, I'm not big into organized religion, and I'm not going to get into that soapbox, but I'm not big into super organized religion. I like going to non-denominational type places. And I met Steve, and the first time I met him, I'm like, holy crap, this dude's fire. Like,
he's a pastor, right?
He's incredible at what he does. Like, he is so gifted in communication, and his level of humility surpasses anybody I've ever met. Like, I've never met anybody like Steve. So yeah, I had to dedicate a chapter to those two guys, because they help me, and they help me in a lot of ways they don't even really realize. Like, I look back at some of the dark areas of my life, and I remember modeling myself and trying to be more like them without them knowing, really. And I just, I look up to them. It's crazy to look up to somebody too younger than you, not just like 2 or 3 years younger, but Josh is freaking 12 years younger than me. You know what I'm saying? I look up to that guy. It's pretty cool. And he's doing some big things now. Both of those guys.
Josh is a good dude.
Yeah. I still think he's a prick, and I got to find a wrist, maybe an ankle. He's been working with me. We got a private set up soon. He's going to, hopefully he teaches me enough that I can freaking catch him. I just want to catch the guy.
You'll do it. I have faith in you, Adam.
Let's figure it out.
We'll figure it
We'll
out.
put a plan together.
Maybe we just catch him outside of the gym on the way to the car. And
let's set it up.
You walk up to him. I'll get on all fours behind him. You push him.
Push him over.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you mount an armbar. Something. I don't know.
I think we could pull that off. And I know a few people that can help set this up. So let's get together maybe early next week, schedule a Zoom intro.
Okay.
Strategy planning session.
Okay, I'm with you.
It could be let's fuck Josh up. It could be, we'll figure it out.
Now we're giving away too much.
Okay, all right,
it's on the calendar.
Yeah,
We'll get to it.
Okay.
Dude, so you mentioned a couple of times, you reached a really low point a few years ago, and you did some things to help yourself get out of that. Can you talk me through that? What were you doing to kind of get you through that time?
I look back and I share my story a lot, and I share it because it's meant what I went through conditioned me for where I'm ultimately supposed to go. And I think there's a lot of people that are stuck in their life similar to the situation that I was in. So, you go back to 2017, and at this point I was married. We're having some marital issues. I was working a ton, and I was in a scenario where I was making an absolute ton of money. I had a really big salary, and I was so unfulfilled. I literally, this sounds so stupid, but I quit a $500,000 job. I quit a job, didn't even really have a plan. I just was unhappy, so I literally left. And I decided to leave and just kind of make up for lost time. So I traveled. I spent 3 months. I was in Alaska. I was in Hawaii, down in Disney, and just really making up for lost time with my kids. Okay. Well, really working to repair the marriage. And, I looked at the people that I was spending a lot of my time with, and I kind of put a value on everyone. My first time ever, I did a real audit of my circle. And what I found was that circle, even though those people loved me, they weren't serving me, and I wasn't advancing in life with the crowds that I was running in. So I started, not that I stopped loving them, I started loving them from a distance, and I started kind of reaching out to people that I wanted to be more like. And I just really made a decision to go to Sedona, and this is where it kind of gets good. I went out to Sedona, me and my ex-wife, and like we literally for like a week. She went one way, I went another way, and we kind of met back later. Several days later, I met some of the world's most incredible therapists, and I was a fan of meditation before then, and especially when at the beginning of meditation, it's kind of clunky and awkward. It's not easy to do. You just gotta. It's for me too with my massive ADD. It's dismissing thoughts not easy. Sitting still is not easy, right? So I was already kind of on my journey, but I kind of took it up a notch when I went out there. I met some people. We did some really cool stuff. I did a lot of cool hiking. Checked out all the vortexes. I met this woman named Ranjita in this canyon. This sounds crazy, but we drank some tea, and we like did this heliotropic breath work,
Okay.
where it's an exercise for 90 minutes where you learn how to breathe in a certain tone, and over this certain rhythm over about 15 minutes kind of kicks in, and it's kind of like an engine gets started. It's kind of like an autopilot. It's kind of trippy, but you actually go off into this deep like hallucinative like
Yeah.
journey,
Hmm.
and there's this certain music that's played with it to intensify, I guess. But I'll tell you right now, that was kind of crazy. But some things in my past were kind of like brought to surface. And I met this woman by the name of Satara, that I had this session with her, and we really dug into some things from my grandmother and my mom and my just certain things from my past that kind of I was able to kind of talk about and really isolate and walk through a little bit differently. So I had a level of closure there, and I came home just a completely different person. Like I just, it's not that I was not on a pursuit of personal growth. I was kind of always looking to get better, but I wasn't doing the things to truly get better. That was just really kickstarted my journey. So Sedona, I call it. There's a little more detail in the book, but the title is "I Got Lost in the Desert."
Okay, so you talk about that in the
Lost
book.
in the desert, yeah. So it's just one of those things. I went out there open-minded, vulnerable at some level, a little bit kind of like, what am I doing? And just freaking came home transformed. I started meeting a couple of people that freaking changed my life. One by the name of Glenn Lundy. Glenn Lundy, super achiever. I mean, this dude's, he was on Grant Cardone's jet a couple days ago. And Glenn is a guy that plugged me into a community where I got to meet a lot of people that had a lot of really good traits to them. And a lot of people had a different walks of success, but they had one thing in common. The thing that they had in common is they set their day up with structure, organization, discipline. They plug into positivity. They practice gratitude. They practice positive self-affirmation. They have a life that is like committed to growth. And so I started becoming fascinated with multiple people within this group. And then I just kept going up to another level, to another level. I started working harder, but I started working on things that I saw so much value in and I had so much passion behind it. And my life just went to another level by just doing the blueprint. I talk about this. You've got books. I'm looking, there's all these books, right? So in those books, there is a blueprint to a better way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not even a better way. Maybe it's the way or a way. In those books, there's so much information that if you put into practice and took action, you could do some cool shit. But what I found is most people don't put any action behind the idea or the blueprint that they just read that they know works. So, for instance, I started taking massive action in my life, and because of taking massive action, I started getting really cool results. So now I'm like, all right, how do I push people to take action? And Grant Cardone, truthfully, is one of those guys. I read a few of his books, 10X Rule, and Grant Cardone's the guy that kind of punched me in the face that let's do more. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. Work harder. Nobody cares about your financial status. Nobody's going to show up and knock on your door and say, hey, listen, Adam, I like you. You're pretty cool. I'm going to brand you and I'm going to grow your business for you. That doesn't happen. Here's the thing. You drive down 270. You drive down 270 and there's somebody broke down on the side of the road and they're standing there with their thumb out. For a second, you're like, oh, that sucks. And you keep going. But you roll down 270 and there's a guy broke down and he's pushing his fucking car. You might stop and help him because he's taking action. He wants to help himself, right? Nobody wants to help somebody that doesn't want to help themselves. And so the book and a lot of these things that I talk about, it's because the reality is we have all of the information in the form of books and people like you, Adam, that are pretty freaking knowledgeable. There's people like you everywhere. And the books are written. People have to be willing to raise their hand, read the book, take action on the book, and call someone like you to say, hey, listen, you're doing some pretty cool shit. Do you mind if I freaking join your network? Right? It's amazing. I sat down with one of my freaking mentors 2 weeks ago in Fort Lauderdale. 2016, 2017, really shitty years of my life. I found this YouTube channel called Your World Within by a guy by the name of Eddie Pinero, which he's been TED Talk. He's a stud is what he is. This dude changed my life. Like this dude's been more influential than Grant Cardone, John Maxwell, Tony Robbins, all these other power players. They've been very influential and they have their role. But Eddie Pinero spoke words into my car when I would listen to his channel that made me create things and change the way I view myself and the world. So I reach out to Eddie Pinero. I could just say, maybe I'll reach out to Eddie. Oh, he's probably too busy. Oh, I don't want to bother him. Well, no, he's doing big things. What is he going to? No. I knew I was in Fort Lauderdale. I knew he lived in Fort Lauderdale. I sent him a message on Facebook, said, hey, bro, I want to sit down. I want to buy you breakfast. I want to get to know you. You know what he said? That'd be awesome. Spent 2 hours with him. We've got a lot of similarities where we align in a lot of ways. And I told him, I'm like, dude, you have helped me so much. Anything you ever need, I got your back. You need something, you got it. You're doing a conference down here, I'll help. Anything I can do to serve you, brother. You fucking changed my life. So now we have a fucking friendship. Oh my God, dude. Those relationships, and I share that, not like, oh, that's cool. I share it because that exists. You can have it. You can have that. You can have it. You look up to somebody, you want to be more like that person, all you have to do is raise your hand. Stroking somebody's ego, you don't just want to stroke their ego to stroke their ego. It is nice to give people compliments. It feels good. You should do that. But that person, I'm sure, I don't know how many messages you've gotten. Hell, I know I've sent you positive messages before because you're fucking awesome. But how many times do you get a message from somebody that's, hey, man, I really appreciate you. You've really helped me. I just want you to know, dude, you've really, really helped me. How good does that feel?
That's when the imposter syndrome kicks in.
Right? It kind of does, right?
It kind of
It
does.
does.
It's like, what?
Yeah,
But no,
man.
it feels good.
Because you're changing lives, man. That's what it's all about. The financial monetary stuff's kind of cool, but it's really a decimal in a bank account. It's really the value of it. This world we're in now, this inflated, weird, crazy world. I mean, the only thing that I look at are tangible assets. I don't even look at, get it. Don't get me wrong. I would love to have $100 million in my checking account. That'd be kind of cool, right? That'd be kind of cool.
Be pretty sweet.
But I really look at my real estate, and those are things that I own that produce income on a monthly basis. Money's a byproduct of doing the right stuff. The joy, it's a means to an end. The joy that you get from helping people supersedes everything.
Yeah. It's that financial piece is like one of those things. Like once you solve that piece, you can start focusing on all of these other things in your life. Ideally, that's what you would do.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'll ever solve the financial piece. Like, I don't know how it's ever fully solved, but I guess there's a state that you can get to where you create enough passive income to where you can kind of outlive money. Like that's the key. Because really, when you die, and I have 3 daughters, you have two daugers.
I have a son and a daughter.
Son and daughter.
Yep.
Okay. So, you want to leave them with something, right? You want to leave a legacy. Of course I want to leave a legacy, but what is that? I talk about this with certain people. What is that dollar amount? Like, I don't know what that is. It's weird. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Is it an amount or is it just a place to where now that's no longer your focus and it allows you to think and divert your energy to other things?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, all I know is I'm bougie in the sense that I like to eat at nice restaurants. Like, I like good food, but I really don't buy anything. Like, I'm not any extra. I don't fly first class. I take Southwest cheap fares. I don't drive freaking Mercedes. I drive a freaking Nissan Armada. Like, I'm very simple now. Like, I used to not be, but I am. Mm-hmm. I'm a little more simple than I used to be. So I don't really need much.
Yeah.
I just want nice weather. I want my health. I mean, I think health's the most important currency. I want to be healthy enough to go for a walk. I want to ride the bike. I want to go to jiu-jitsu. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. There's so many things that are important
Mhm.
that aren't attached to that monetary thing.
It takes a while to figure that out too, though, because it's real easy to say that, and when you're 28, come on, I mean, it's tough. 32, it's tough, but when I hit 40, even my late 30s, like 40, it's like man, things are different. I have to coach and influence my kids. Like, my job is not to be like their friend. I have to influence and coach them
Hmm.
to make them better contributors. Like, there's so much pressure, and then time's not on our side anymore, right? So you draw a line, and it's easier. I don't know about you. It's easier for me to say no to things I don't want to do.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot. Nope.
No, no
Somebody says,
time.
"Hey, listen, Adam. There's a little weekend getaway we're thinking about this summer. I'm busy that date.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even give you a date, but I know I'm busy. I can't do it."
I almost feel a bit of an asshole because I've always talked about just auditing the energy I allow around me, and then just I guard my time. It's just such a sacred thing to me where I don't like to let people steal my time.
Shouldn't.
Yeah.
Katie Shearer, your friends, you know Jake and Katie, right?
Hmm.
Katie and Jake, they're exceptional humans, and Katie taught me this in 2017 that you can say no,
Hmm.
be unapologetic. You don't have to give people reasons or excuses to defend a decision that's ultimately yours. If it's something that is not something that I want to do or it's not going to provide value into my life, I say no to it.
Yeah.
Period. Amen. She taught me that. I mean, I started really kind of looking up to her for that. I'm like, I like that because I used to be a yes. I used to people please. I wanted to say yes to everybody. And then, like you said, your time's completely stolen from you,
Yeah.
and you're not making any money.
Now I will say I am guilty of taking that too far to where I'll end up saying at least I'm guilty in the past of having said no probably too much or giving off the impression of like maybe like being unapproachable or
Yeah.
not committing to things because now yes like I valued my time too much to where you don't want to give it.
Yeah.
It's like you can't get anywhere if you don't give your time
I guess
or your energy
if
to
you
others.
think about it as, first of all, if there's a conflict in your calendar, if it's something that you're going to have to stress out about, then it's a simple, hey, listen,
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I'd love to help you. My calendar I'm so booked. I can't make it happen. I'm really, really sorry. It's just, you got to be honest. Now, if it's something that can provide value and you can help some people, if it's an opportunity to serve and truly serve and help some people, then maybe you look at it a little differently and see if you can create some space for that, right? I mean, you just got to, I guess it's what is this? If it's going to the bar on a Tuesday night, because a buddy, maybe not. It's easier
Hmm.
to say no to that. What are you going to get out of that besides a hangover?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, dude. When I stopped drinking, that was a big changer, especially in this area. If you don't drink a lot,
Yeah.
yeah, it's easy to say no to things.
I love me some wine and I love me some cold beers, but I just don't do it that much.
Hmm.
I stopped going out. I just don't. I mean, there's
How do you have time, dude?
it just doesn't work. Now I'm out of town a lot. I'm entertaining a lot. There's a lot of dinners and all these places, right? You go. I love red wine. I don't know if I'll ever stop drinking some red wine, but I'm not going to be. But when dinner's over, I go to the hotel. I don't go out. What does a 42-year-old need to be doing at like 11 o'clock?
Sleeping.
Sleeping. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like if you're trying to crush the day, you can't be out. You got to get sleep's one of the most important things. But I just think limiting going out and running around is not just changed your life, changed my life too. It
Yeah.
really, yeah.
So I mean, obviously we talked about like you structure your day, right? Do you set up like a checklist? It's like I need to get this, and this done in that block,
Mhm.
or like this, and this done like all throughout the day, or like how do you set up your tasks for the day?
In my office, I have this huge whiteboard, and I have each company, and then I have like bullet points of the most important things. I am an old school legal pad and pen guy. I'll never get rid of my legal pad and pen. So daily, I'll write down even the important stops, and then I draw a little ball and I'll draw lines through them as I complete the task. And then in my phone, I'll allot like little blocks. Oh, family martial arts. Oh, here's social media. Oh, here's prospecting for Ascent Dealer Services. Oh, here's agent training. So I block it all out.
Okay. Do you put more on your list that then maybe you'll get done in that day, or do you only put enough that
I'm
you'll get
pretty
done?
good. I'm pretty good about honoring my schedule and respecting it. I'm happy. Like, I definitely get some things done. I typically here's how to answer that question. I'm never caught up. Okay, so for instance, like I've got all these speaking engagements, I've got all these dealer meetings planned, I've got all of this going on, and I've got literally a life of just being overwhelmed. Here's how I deal with this. I go to bed knowing that I'm always going to be overwhelmed. Like though when I decide to slow it down, there's an age in mind when I'll decide to slow it down a little bit. I'm never going to be caught up. And that is okay because if I'm caught up, that means I'm not busy enough. And I'm seriously, I live in this state now of it's okay. I go to bed, I go to bed every single day knowing I got a shit ton to do tomorrow, and that's fine. It's
Yeah.
okay. Now, there are certain deadlines for certain things. There's non-negotiable tasks, and those always get done. I mean, I don't like if there's a deadline or there's something, I get that done. But like there's a I'm speaking mid-May. I haven't even started on that presentation in the Bahamas. Like I'll work on that 2 weeks before, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
something might be on your list, and maybe it'll just roll over to the next day.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
pick
and
it
I'm
up.
okay doing that. Like, but the thing is, there's certain non-negotiables that have to get done, and I won't go to bed until those things are done.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Yeah, man. You're on it.
I try.
Locked and loaded. Wake up with a mission. That's like a valuable way to live. I think so many people were forced to slow down in 2020, like we talked about kind of at the beginning of the conversation, and I think it helps to realize that, um, like if you wake up in the morning and you don't really have any like aim or drive, it's like what are you doing? And I think that being forced to slow down, either some people took that time to really look and be like, all right, like what am I doing? Or
Yeah.
what can I be doing? Or they were just like, oh, I'm not going to do shit. And they didn't get any better. But I know for me, one of the things I realized, and maybe it's just as I'm always like going through things in my mind, as I'm trying to build this podcast or build Imposed Will or just like live with purpose every day, is that, man, it's very easy to feel lost in this world and to not kind of have that aim. So whatever that aim is for you as an individual, it's just it's good to have that and to wake
Yes.
up every day and just to have something to work towards.
Amen.
It can be it
Amen.
can literally be anything. I know I was a lot guiltier of this whenever I was younger, of where like you put importance and value on certain things. It's like, all right, well, this thing is more valuable than this thing. For example, coming out of high school, it's probably a great example. How many kids didn't go into the trades because you didn't think that was like a valuable job? It wasn't as cool as like going to get like a 4 year
Lots.
degree.
Oh yeah.
So
Tons
many
of kids.
kids, right?
Yeah.
But how many people do you know in the trades today who are
Crushing.
crushing it, dude, and have very meaningful and purpose filled and
Big old houses,
happy
and
lives?
benefits, and pensions, and living. There's a lot of guys doing, gals doing very well.
Exactly. So like people stand in their way. Like you are the fucking problem, right?
Yes.
You stand in your own way. You'll place value on these things, and you'll deny yourself possibly of purpose and like an aim in life
Yep.
because you got in your own way the way you viewed something. So it's like anything, and I say that to say that like anything can be valuable or it can be of like a pursuit, like a worthy pursuit in your life. Like you can't allow any other person to define that for you. Like you have to find what that is for
Amen.
you. But once you do, you can go all in on that thing
Yeah.
and just keep pursuing it.
Absolutely, and everybody too has. And I talk about this. I wrote about this at nauseum in the book that we all have incredible gifts. Like we're all good at something.
Yeah.
There's some of us that are good at a lot of things, but most of us are good at just a couple of things. Like I'm talking exceptional, and I believe at birth we were given some incredible talents, and it's hard sometimes to isolate and identify them. But when you do, and you just kind of go all in, and here's the problem: like people are always, they're looking at Hollywood, and then people like put these standards on celebrities. Like for instance, like I don't give a shit about celebrity. Like there's nothing like If Buchecha walked into, I'd want to get a picture with him over,
I've met him.
You know what I'm saying? Like that Gordon Ryan, I see Gordon Ryan, downtown St. Louis. I'm like, dude, I love you, bro. Let me get a selfie. Like so. Point is, that a lot of people they idolize these people, and they realize they're far away from obtaining this status and the wealth, and they give up on themselves because they're not comparing themselves to themselves and what they could be. They're comparing themselves to look at what they're doing. Oh man, they just get in their own way, right? And what people need to do is they have to find out, just like really think about what makes them happy. What do they want out of their life? And put some type of an actionable step in place to just move an inch towards it every day. You don't have to run a mile every day. Just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Progress, just a little better. But the thing is, if it's just a little bit better, if they're advancing on something that they truly love, then the joy gets filled every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, then you live a fulfilled life.
Yeah.
And you know what? And success, you said it best. Like, I don't even know what success is, because each individual has to define it for themselves. Like, success is not broad. What is success? There's more people that are super wealthy that are super miserable and depressed. I mean, there's how many people you know people, and you see it all the time. People have all this money, and they just on drugs, OD, and depressed, taking their own lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, insanity, because they're not fulfilled, because we're not working on ourselves, and we are not doing the audit of the people that we're spending our time with. If we can do the things that we truly love, that make us happy, and then surround ourselves with other people that have a relationship that goes both ways, everything's got to be reciprocated, then you live a happy life, period.
That sounds so simple.
Sounds simple, but it really is, though. I mean, the thing is, it sounds simple, but it actually really is simple. But the problem is, most of us fear change. That's the problem. Nobody wants to make a change. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. And then nobody wants to change, and then nobody wants to put any action behind it. You hear this before. There's not a shortage of brilliant ideas. There are brilliant ideas everywhere. There's a massive shortage of action on those ideas.
Yeah.
The dream's dead.
Yeah.
The dream's dead because there's no action behind it.
The scary thing is that illusion that you're creating for yourself when you're trying to avoid change, you're still changing. Like, you're just getting worse. Are you changing for the better, or are you changing for the worse? You could do nothing. You're not going to stay stagnant. You're just going to get worse. It's going to happen, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
It's like quicksand. It's a slow death.
It's a miserable life, too, and that's why, I kind of ventured out on my own. I started this new company, and Ascent Dealer Services, that's my baby, and my real estate companies are great. I love them, and my martial arts academy brings a lot of joy with the least amount of revenue out of all my companies, by the way, right?
Yeah.
But I do it because I love it.
It's the lifestyle.
Yeah, and I started a company, Marburger Coaching and Development, and that company is truly something that is true joy filled. Like that company, my job is to just help people get a little bit better every day. And I got some cool things I'm doing now, and I feel like my purpose, I truly believe, and my mantra is speak, inspire, change. I believe that I was put on earth to speak to as many people as I can, to inspire those people to do just a little bit more, and together we'll make this freaking world a much better place, right? Because if you could, how great would it be if we could get people to turn off CNN, get people to smile, get people to open a door for you when you're at Quick Trip getting your coffee, and how you doing? You look nice. How great would it be if everybody had a smile on their face, right? Not saying that the rainy days aren't there and the freaking guy is going to cut you off, or not saying that you're a little short on cash, because we're all going to run into that, right? But what if we could make that the 80-20? What if 80% of the time we could serve other people and smile more, compliment more, and help more, and then 20% of the time we can bitch and complain? Because really, that's going to happen, right? How much better would the world be, right, if we could just be grateful? Think about that, man. I mean, that would be a perfect dream if just 80% of the time we were just in a good freaking mood.
Yeah. That'd be a massive shift.
Think about the workforce. Think about your culture within your place of vocation, your vocation. Just think about if leadership, instead of beating people down for the stuff they did bad on, let's talk about some of the great things that you do. right? And let's look at some of your shortcomings and let's put a plan together on how together we can grow these numbers in this segment where you're falling short. Because you're crushing it here, but you're falling short here, and together let's fix that shit.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, listen, hey, Tom, it looks like your forecast last month, the revenue goal in bucket A was good, but in bucket B, you really fell short. You did a really bad job there. What are you going to do a better job this month? Right? What? There's two ways to handle that, right? Which way is the more influential way, right?
Yeah.
So it's just there's a lot of things that come from your the culture, your mindset, and your attitude. Period. So
Mindset's everything, dude. I mean, the way we. I don't know if this may be my psychedelic use or just me just getting older. Um, I'm just really starting to realize just how much of reality is truly created by me. Like my life, my reality, the world that I live in, we all have power over it. We can all create our own reality. It's not easy, but the thoughts that we have will dictate our reality. If you wake up in the morning and you're in a shitty mood and all you're doing is thinking shitty things and you're just consuming negativity and you're in a bad mood, you're gonna walk out and you're just gonna see negativity and just you're just gonna be frustrated. You're gonna have a reality that is not positive, it's not good. If you wake up and you start seeing gratitude in things, you start seeing the opportunity in things, you start seeing the possibility in things, you start realizing that the life that you're living is a direct result of the actions that you're taking. It's a completely different reality, and you can
amen.
actually build an influence and change the reality in
Absolutely.
front of you.
Absolutely. That is so it's deep and it's so accurate. Perception is reality. We were talking earlier, you and I, before we started the podcast, we were talking about Seneca.
Yes.
One of his famous quotes is, "We struggle more often in reality we struggle more often in imagination than we do in reality."
Hmm.
A lot of times we get ourselves in these little funks and it's not real. Like you can turn a great day into a bad day with a stupid thought that you dwell on. It turns into some things and some things that never really occurred, right?
Yeah.
If we can just work on our own mindset, the world would be a better place.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
it is. I mean, really, a good mood and a bad mood, what is it? It's a decision, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people will wake up. I mean, if we could just, that's the key about starting the day. If you could just, and that's why Glenn Lundy on his show called Rise and Grind, he used to have this show every morning, and he used to bring some really incredible hosts on there like Ed Milet. Grant Cardone would come in and speak, just some really positive, influential people. But it all starts with how you start your day will be a reflection of how your day goes. Like, so if you wake up hungover, not really having any clue what you want to wear, where you're supposed to be, you're going to be behind all day. If you wake up with some structure, some organization, you start your day with filling your mind with positivity. That's the key. Before you pick up this phone and go into your little checking notifications, like you don't want to serve somebody else. When you wake up, we have to serve ourselves. I praise God, and then I serve meat next. And yeah, maybe you got to turn the phone on to get to your, whatever you're going to listen to, or go to your YouTube or whatever that is. Like for me, I talk about Eddie Panera. I'll start my day, maybe a little Your World Within, 15 minutes of some incredible, thought-provoking, heart-tugging, get your mojo going. So now, how many people can you help? Right? If you fill yourself with positivity first, you're going to have a freaking good start to the day.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, and it sounds, you talk about it simple. It's so simple to do that.
Simple is not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a concept that I think most of us are pretty familiar with in science is that an object in motion will stay in motion. Um, and that it applies directly to what you're saying. Like, how do you start your day? Are you starting your day putting yourself in motion in a positive way? Because like once you start that momentum, it'll carry you,
Oh, yeah.
and it's easier to build upon, right? But if you're just sitting there, now it takes a lot of force to get that object to move, right?
Amen.
If an object is not moving, it has to have a lot of force to create to move. So if you're just sitting on the couch and you're just scrolling and you're not actually um, like pushing yourself to move forward, you're just gonna sit there, and it's gonna be
Amen.
that much harder. And then one day turns into two, turns into three, turns into a month, and it's like, fuck, dude.
Now you're sick.
Now
You're unhealthy.
you're in a
You can't
bad spot.
walk, and that's what happens too.
Yeah.
Here, John Maxwell, one of my favorite leadership coaches. He's incredible. He talks about the law of momentum, the big Mo. I mean, momentum is outside of compound interest. I think it's the most powerful force in the universe. Momentum is, I had a recap meeting with my team at Ascent Dealer Services yesterday, and I talked about momentum. I'm like, here, it's talking about Matt. I was telling Vitaly down in Florida, use Matt's momentum. Just because you just didn't sign 2 deals, which actually Vitaly did, but just because, use this as an example, just because you didn't sign 2 deals, well, Matt did, ride his momentum. As a team, we need to share the momentum. We're on a freight train, guys. Let's freaking run. And that's what I share. Momentum is such a powerful force. I mean, you start going and going, you keep going. You sit and stop. You sit there. You stay there.
Yeah, bro. Dude, when you running for the mayor of Alton?
Oh, I'm scared of that. You know what? I ran into my buddy Brant, who was the ex-mayor this week, and we were kind of chit-chatting. I was walking out, a gentleman overheard us talking, and he said the same thing. He goes, Adam, you should run for mayor. I go, there's a couple things about that. A, would I freaking be incredible at it? I think I could, because I think I could instill some leadership in that community and really push and drive things. I've got some ideas, and we'll talk about that at a later date. But the second part of that, though, is really, would it be worth it? I like the idea of doing a civic duty. Like, I would never want to be a politician. I would want to serve my community, and that's why I would potentially look at doing that in the future. But I wouldn't want to get caught up into the politics. I don't want to be a politician, right?
Yeah.
I want to help and serve my community, and that's it.
Well, you're already a community leader. It would just be like an official capacity. It
Yeah.
just seems so natural given your passion for your community.
Yeah, and it's not off the table, but here's the thing. Am I willing to deal with the drama that comes with it? Do I want to really have to explain myself for things that I did 20 years ago, right? Do I want to really have my kids be scrutinized? Because I'm not trying, I want to serve, but I'm also good serving in silent too. Like there's some things I do in my community nobody even knows about. I just I'm good, and I believe you're supposed to give in private, and I like to do that. But unfortunately, to really make real change, you got to step out in public, right? If you want to really do some things, you got to kind of step out.
Put yourself out there.
You got to put yourself out there. So the question is, am I willing to deal with the BS that could come along with that? I don't know.
Yeah, only time will tell. I mean, you're doing a lot of it already.
Yeah.
Like, you put yourself out there on a regular basis. It seems like, from what I'm seeing and hearing, I mean, there's this huge push towards your coaching business, right?
Yes.
Obviously, like you've done the real estate. What is the real estate market even looking like right now?
So I can't buy anything. I'm trying to buy. You
How do
can't
you
buy
buy
anything.
shit? There's
You can't
no
buy anything. You can't buy anything.
There's no inventory.
I'm sitting still. I'm trying to get capital.
You got massive investors coming in, scooping shit up.
I'm sitting still until we see what. I don't know what's going to happen. At some point, something's going to fall out, and there'll be an opportunity to purchase. But right now, everything's trading so high. The inflation's not just crushing the automotive industry that I'm in, but it's crushing the real estate industry. I haven't raised any rents. Our rents are the same. And we right now, I think we're pretty close to 100%. Like, we have every property filled right now.
So that brings your margins down, though, because prices are going up and you're not.
Prices, taxes. Man, I live in Illinois. I've got a lot of real estate in Illinois, and these taxes keep going up. It's tough. I mean, it really is a difficult, vulnerable market right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're in that industry, obviously the automotive industry. It seems like, there's a big push now towards, like, just helping and building community.
Yeah. I love being involved in the community. Ascent Dealer Services is my baby. It really is. That is a company that I will tell you, I put most of my energy.
Is that your number one company?
That's my number one company. Marburger Coaching and Development is a side company that I built that I'm going to be selling books out of, writing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be speaking. I've got a lot of things I'm doing coming up on speaking. I'm doing a lot of online coaching, small groups. I've got a lot of a podcast and things that are going to tie into that business. But that business is going to come second to Ascent Dealer Services. That's always going to be my baby.
So I'm glad you said all that, right? Because I wanted to kind of talk about the podcast a little bit, because it seems like there's a huge opportunity for that to kind of flip, and that become your thing as it grows, as the podcast grows, as speaking grows, as coaching grows.
Yep.
Maybe hosting seminars, different things like that could be a very big thing. I just see it.
I see it too.
I see it.
I see it because I want to celebrate. I got an idea for my community, and I've got some things written, but I got an idea of putting together like a community, like Wake Up Riverbend, and like start a morning show. Have it, I don't know if I'd want to do it every day. It'd be kind of cool if I could, but I just don't think I'd be able to commit to doing it
Huge
every day.
time commitment.
Yeah, but maybe one day a week, maybe Monday mornings, and celebrate a new business owner in the community, have them come in, and they don't have to be maybe a business owner, but a leader. So a leader in the community, bring them in, celebrate them, get to know them, interview them, see how I can serve and help and share the good news with the community. I want to plug into Alton businesses, Godfrey, Alton, even Wood River and East Alton and Bethalto, just that little area. I'm not going to leave Edwardsville out of it. I call it Betterville. Everything, the food's better in Edwardsville. But my local, I'm a Alton Godfrey guy. That's where I'm at. But I really am looking forward to doing some of that.
Yeah, dude, that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
real cool. So it'll be like a short 30-minute
Probably
segment,
a 30, 45-minute segment.
talking to
Yeah.
them, highlighting them. Just,
The idea would be to start it off with like a lesson. Every day would
Yeah.
be we're going to talk about a subject, and I want to just share some relevant information that will help people start their day in
Yeah.
a positive light, and then interview somebody new in the local community.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool for people to want to be like, I don't want to be I'm not trying to be somebody. Like, I'm not trying to make, I have a people, like, I don't want to make it, I don't even know what big is. I want to do something to serve my community. I'm not
Yeah.
thinking about like going nationally or globally. I just want to stay in my community, right?
Dude.
I want to make a difference there.
Absolutely. Social media, I think, has shifted the way that we think, where we're always trying to go global and national. Like, everything has to be big. And if you say it's almost a frowned upon thing, kind of, or maybe it's just me, my perception of where it's like, oh, it's just local. You're just local. But you can do so much more and have so much value in local.
Yeah.
I've actually kind of shifted where, of course, I want to sit down with big people across the country and across the world.
And you have.
But I've really focused in. I've actually gotten feedback, which lets me know I'm doing a good job of like, I've really focused in on attacking this local scene of St. Louis and like making this my
Yeah.
kingdom, if you
I
will.
love the idea.
You know what I mean? You can go so deep in such a small area and make massive change. I think it was Seth Godin who was talking about if you just have 100 just dedicated fans, you become a millionaire. Just
Yeah.
off 100 people.
Yeah.
I think most of us have 100 followers that you can actually get access to pretty easily
Yeah.
on social media. Just think about if you just went all in on the things that are immediately around you and the people that immediately love you, like how much you can do with
You can
just
do a lot.
being local.
You can do a lot. You can make a really big impact on the people that matter most.
Yes,
If you think of,
that's the biggest thing about you. You're so tuned in to your community and the people around you that I draw a lot of inspiration from that because you're just
Yeah.
all in
I love my
on
community.
the community.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love it. I mean, here the thing is too, when you're proud of your community, when you're truly proud of it, like, I mean, I'm just really, like, I didn't see the beauty in Alton and Godfrey until probably 6-7 years ago.
Yeah,
I mean,
30 somewhere.
yeah, because like it was just home to me, and I couldn't wait to go on vacations. And like I think we were talking earlier about, I travel so much that when I look at my calendar and I see a week where I'm home, I'm so happy. A lot of people, like, they get so excited to go on a vacation, like they get super jacked to go out of town, right? Well, I get that jacked, that same feeling that most people get to go on a vacation. I get that same feeling to be home. When I see I'm home for the entire week, I'm freaking super happy. Because then I know that I'm getting to go to my local restaurants that I love to go to. I'm getting to go to my academy. I'm with my daughters. I'm with my friends. Like that, I love it here. Like, you see the beauty and the charm too. Like, there's no, and I mean, I'll say this with conviction. In the St. Louis metropolitan area, there's some really cool areas and places, but there's not a lot like that great River Road. And there's the cool things outside of Fast Days, which Fast Days is world famous. It is awesome, right? It is awesome. But, you get down to Grafton, that's like the Key West of the Midwest.
Grafton's
Grafton
awesome.
is freaking awesome. Like, if you can't have a good time or you're in a bad mood there, you suck as a human.
We went
like,
to Aries.
Aries, beautiful.
Fucking so awesome.
It's one of the best views in the Midwest, they say. That just
Amazing.
view up there.
Beautiful.
So I love my hometown. It's beautiful to me. The restaurants are freaking great. The people are great. There's no traffic. There's not a lot of drama. Yeah, is there some crime? It's no different than any other place.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, I'm a pretty big home fan. Yeah.
Dude, within the last maybe year or two, I've grown to appreciate St. Louis and the Midwest and Missouri as a whole Because when you look at all the people who are fleeing New York and fleeing California and just all the craziness in the different areas around the world, we're actually a pretty cool spot right here.
Yeah, we are.
You know, it's the people are cool. At least in St. Louis, we have a phenomenal restaurant scene.
We have a great restaurant
There's
scene
a
here in
lot
St.
of
Louis.
opportunities, very affordable.
It's
It's a little
beautiful.
bit different on your side of the
Yeah,
river as far
yeah.
as taxes,
Oh, yeah.
but I mean, shit. You know, you look at some of these other places, and this, you know, Missouri's not look so bad.
St. Louis
I love
is
it.
I am a huge fan of Missouri. St. Louis is fantastic. It's a beautiful city. You know, there's some pockets where the crime could be. The city's struggling in certain areas,
Oh,
but
for sure.
there's so much opportunity. And if you want to, you can build a nice life for yourself from a financial standpoint here. You can get a lot of house for the money. You can get a lot of house for the money here. You can fly anywhere out of Lambert with convenience. Like I fly direct almost everywhere I go right out of Lambert. So I mean, it's from a travel standpoint. From a weather standpoint, it's not that bad. I mean, yeah, does it get cold from January to March? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty rough. The summer's pretty brutally hot, but you know what? They're pretty hot a lot of places. I love it here. I mean, I
Oh
wouldn't
yeah.
change it. I love it here.
It's a nice little pocket. I mean, we're not getting hit. So you talked about Florida. You will get hit with a hurricane
I
when you
know.
live. It's not if, it's
It's when.
inevitable. It's
Yeah.
when it does happen. It's somewhere worse than others. We don't really get that bad here. I mean, maybe some tornadoes here and there, but it's not that bad. We're not getting hit with earthquakes.
I'll have to be coming back when
It's
storms
a
come.
nice,
I
it's
won't
a
be
nice
one of
little
those.
gym, baby, right
Yeah,
here.
I know, but I think I see myself being one of those that what about October, November, maybe after Thanksgiving. See you guys. I'll be in Florida.
100%. For me, it was Austin. I went to Austin for the first time maybe 4 or 5 years ago now. And I
Great place.
fell in love with that place. I went 4 times that year the first time I went. I'm like, man. And then now everybody's going there. It's kind of like that in Florida, too, though. There's
Yeah.
a massive exodus of people who just went to Florida.
Yeah.
That changes things, too. It makes real estate harder to get.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's more expensive now. It's more crowded. It's like, man, is the infrastructure even able to support this many people? A lot of issues come
Yeah.
with that. That's why I'm just like, man, this little gym right here.
It is nice.
Because everybody's also floating to Texas. A lot of people are going to Texas.
Texas and Florida, that's where everybody wants to go. I mean,
Everybody
here
wants to go
you
there.
got to look at New York. Facts are facts. This isn't a political statement, but when you look at California, Illinois, New York, those you see how those places are ran and who's running them. They're dreadful states that people are fleeing. People are fleeing out of those states, and it's for the reasons why.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, dude. So yeah, I've just grown to really appreciate this little small town, slower vibe.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, man, let's just keep it a secret.
Pretty chill. I like it here.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Well, Adam, dude, we're coming up on an hour and a half, man.
Oh my God,
I know.
hour and a half, really?
Yeah, bro.
Dang, bro.
I want to be respectful of your time. Let's wrap it up. Tell the people what you got going on in your life. Anything you want to tell them about?
No, I mean here, if people want to follow me, I'm pretty easy to find. Just Google my name. It'll take you to where you need to find me. I mean, I'm doing a lot of speaking. I'm doing a lot of one-on-one coaching. The book releases happening April 5th. I'm all over the place. I love connecting. I say this. If you're a growth mindset type of person, I like to connect with you. I like connecting with people that have positive energy.
And that you do, my friend.
Yep. Same to you, bro.
Awesome. All right, that's it. Right? Got it? Cool.
Got
All right,
it.
everybody. Until next time. Bye.